Manila and Washington commit to fast-track the construction of existing projects under the defense agreement.
Diplomatic officials from the Philippines and the United States have together undertaken a visit to an additional site.
Now that Balabac Island is one of the 4 additional Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement or EDCA sites in the country, expect facilities like hangars and warehouses to be built by the United States once the airbase is completed.
In a quiet corner of the South China Sea, something massive just took off, literally. A new military runway, built jointly by the United States and the Philippines, is now complete at one of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement sites. Its location, in Palawan, facing directly toward the ever-contentious Spratly Islands. This isn't just concrete and asphalt. This is strategy, power projection, and a crystal-clear message. The game in the South China Sea is shifting. For years, tensions have simmered in these waters. China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, ignoring international rulings and building artificial islands outfitted with military infrastructure. But the Philippines, backed by international law and now reinforced by a major ally, is no longer standing by. This new runway, it's a runway to deterrence. Located at the strategically vital Basat Air Base extension in Palawan, this new airstrip is the most advanced project yet under EDCA, the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement between the U.S. and the Philippines. It's long enough to host cargo planes, fighter jets, surveillance aircraft, and it's close enough to the Spratlys to monitor and, if needed, respond within minutes. So why does this matter? Because distance is power. In the world of military logistics, every mile counts, and this new base shortens that distance dramatically, both for the Philippines and for U.S. forces stationed in the Indo-Pacific. Think about it. Within a few hundred kilometers of hotly contested reefs and islets lies a fully operational runway, capable of launching surveillance drones or scrambling fighter jets in moments. That changes everything. The South China Sea is more than just a map squabble. It's a vital artery for global trade. Over $3 trillion in shipping passes through here every year. Control over these waters means influence over global economics, energy routes, and military mobility. And the Philippines, it's right in the middle of it all. According to Philippine officials, this runway isn't about provoking conflict. It's about protecting sovereignty. And for Washington, it's part of a larger integrated deterrence strategy, placing key infrastructure in friendly nations to ensure that no single power dominates Asia's maritime crossroads. In short, it's a tripwire, and it signals that any hostile move in these waters won't go unanswered. This isn't an isolated project. It's just one of 9 EDCA sites where American and Filipino forces are expanding their joint footprint. Each site improves coordination, readiness, and the ability to respond to crises, whether natural disasters or aggressive military action. From humanitarian aid to high-tech surveillance, these bases are becoming the backbone of a new Indo-Pacific posture. And the timing? Couldn't be more urgent. Just months ago, Chinese vessels used water cannons against Philippine resupply missions at 2nd Thomas Shoal. Tensions are no longer abstract. They're happening in real time, involving real people and lives. So this new runway, it's more than symbolic. It's a response, a concrete warning that aggression has consequences. So, what does the future look like? Will this base become a stabilizing force or the spark that ignites a wider showdown? That depends on what happens next: diplomacy, deterrence, or escalation. But one thing is clear: the Philippines is no longer a passive player. It's asserting its role side by side with the United States in the most strategically volatile region on Earth. On May 18, Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff Gen. Andres Centino inspected ongoing construction of Balabac Island's runway, as well as warehouse and barracks facilities.
Yes, that the Philippine side proposed to our partners, the United States.
And visited Naval Station Narciso del Rosario on the other side of the island, which he said would also be expanded under EDCA. While no EDCA-related construction has commenced yet at Balabac, the United States is expected to ship in materials and build facilities like hangars and warehouses once the airbase has been completed. Review of satellite imagery found little in the way of major construction at the other 3 newly announced sites in recent years. But on May 25, Armed Forces of the Philippines spokesperson Colonel Medal Aguilar stated that 14 projects are already identified to be constructed and funded by the United States at the 4 new EDCA locations. And in September, it was reported that the Philippines is seeking U.S. assistance in building a pier and repairing the airstrip at Camilo Ojos Naval Base and constructing a fuel storage facility and a command center at Lalo Airport. The United States and the Philippines are on the cusp of unveiling an expansion to the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, ushering in additional strategic locations for American military access on Philippine soil. This evolution of the bilateral pact is poised to deepen their defense entwinement amid rising geopolitical undercurrents in the Indo-Pacific. Last month, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sanctioned the U.S. military's ingress into 4 supplementary encampments, layering atop the 5 prior facilities established under the original 2014 EDCA Accord. This maneuver surfaces against the backdrop of Beijing's swelling maritime boldness, both in the turbulent waters of the South China Sea and across the Taiwan Strait. Amid the tarmac and hangars of Basat Air Base in Manila, a linchpin among the pre-existing EDCA sites, U.S. Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall addressed the press. He asserted that these military pacts are not tethered to any singular adversarial narrative, hinting at a broader strategic contour rather than an overt stance against a particular state actor. The EDCA framework doesn't erect permanent American strongholds. Rather, it grants rotational access for joint exercises, logistical staging, and the erection of key infrastructure, ranging from reinforced landing strips and fuel depots to military quarters and equipment storage. Though official maps remain under wraps, former high-ranking Philippine defense officials have signaled that Washington has zeroed in on locales such as Isabela, Zambales, and Cagayan, northern provinces flanking Taiwan, as well as Palawan, whose proximity to the contentious Spratly archipelago intensifies its strategic allure. Philippine Defense Secretary Carlito Galvez affirmed that regional administrators in those prospective post areas have voiced their assent, supporting the initiative to broaden American footprints under the defense umbrella. Both Galvez and Kendall helmed a ceremonial groundbreaking for the refurbishment of the Basat Air Base's primary runway, a symbolic yet tangible gesture of defense synergy. This milestone is the tactile expression of our Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, Kendall proclaimed during his address, underlining that it fortifies the spine of the U.S.-Philippines alliance, a bond rooted in a mutual defense treaty now entering its 8th decade. We stand at a pivotal juncture in the global landscape, he added, and this alliance ensures we remain tethered to a trajectory of tranquility and regional equilibrium. The revitalization of Basa's runway is carved out of a broader $82 million U.S. investment package earmarked for overhauling infrastructure across the 5 foundational EDCA locations. Looking ahead, Philippine officials anticipate a continuation, and likely acceleration, of EDCA-related projects, with hopes that Washington's gaze will stretch even further across the archipelago's militarily vital terrain. Runways like these don't just launch planes. They launch messages, and the message from Palawan is loud and clear. We're ready, we're watching, and we will defend our waters. Subscribe for more defense updates and geopolitical insights. The South China Sea is heating up. Don't miss what happens next.